Want to get hit in the face.
Yeah, when I go to boxing training, it's hard, but I love it. I love the grind, man. I love feeling like I'm soaked in sweat. I love going for that run and feeling like I'm drowning in sweat. I love it. It's a feeling that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And when I don't enjoy it anymore, that's when I've reached the finish line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man, I'd rather stay in bed today.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to boxing training today. That's when you know you're getting close to the finish line.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The Lebbie podcast is the best podcast in the area, and you can't change my mind.
Guys, welcome back to the best podcast in the area. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Obviously, today we have an amazing guest here. Bit different to our usual guests, but sometimes we've got to change it up, get a different perspective. Obviously the former IBF champ, Billy Dib.
Thank you for having me, boys.
Thanks so much
Good
for
to
coming
be
on,
here.
man.
Good to be here.
When you hear that, when you hear like former IBF champion, and people, you probably get that a lot. You hear it a lot. What comes to your mind? What do you think about?
A lot of hard work and sacrifice, man. That's what it
Yeah.
took. I worked hard for many, many years. It was
Yeah.
a dream that started at a young age of 12. So,
Right.
I started with a vision.
Yeah.
I remained very consistent in my approach. And then, alhamdulillah, after many years of hard work, it came to fruition, man.
Yeah, and that was the peak of your career, and now obviously that you've grown up and you've seen all the heights and everything and all the fame and all the money. Like I saw a video, I don't know if you've seen the video. I've seen a video of like Mike Tyson. They were like showing him his belt, and they're like, "What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you?"
And he said
And
nothing.
he said nothing. Sorry to interrupt the podcast, guys. I know you're enjoying the podcast, but we have a special word from our sponsors. Yes, Manscape. We are proudly
Manscaped,
sponsored by
baby.
Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Yeah,
Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. Yes, you heard that right. The Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Get on it. It's the 4th generation trimmer. That's right, the 4.0.
The 4.0, baby.
Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free world shipping with the code. What's the code?
Lebbie.
Lebbie.
So
So
it's going to be down here.
it's going to be down here anyway. So guys, use the code Lebbie. You get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Yeah,
And
that's
just
crazy.
imagine imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer.
But you know what's crazy about this one, right? It's engineered.
Yeah.
It's basically engineered to trim like the part without hurting yourself.
engineered to
Because
trim.
obviously you can get a lot of cuts when
Nicks
you're
and
dealing
cuts,
with sensitive areas like that. But this one has an actual like ceramic blade, and it reduces the grooming action and accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. I now feel safe shaving my balls, to be
Exactly.
honest.
Even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 to 4.
I mean, sometimes you want to keep a little bit of a lawn.
Look,
but
it's got a travel
It's
lock as
fine.
well.
If you like a bit of a lawn, you like a bit of a lawn.
Look,
Most
see?
of us like no lawn at all. So if you like no lawn at all, you put it on the one setting and you just shave away.
Yeah, and it's got a travel lock. So right now it's on a travel lock. And if I press, it doesn't turn on. So I press it back 3 times. There we go. Travel lock.
If you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong. Because no one wants to end up with, you know what, in their mouth. So you use this one, and it's specifically designed just for your balls. Guys, use the code Lebbie at manscape.com. You get 20% off with free shipping. You know how crazy that is? Free shipping worldwide. So guys, make sure and shave your parts responsibly. All right. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do some of the boxers say that?
It's not that it doesn't mean nothing to him, you know what I mean? It's obviously just says that the belts are dust collectors.
Right.
But really without the belts, you're not the person that you are, you know what I mean? Obviously the
100%.
belt, obviously the belt doesn't make the champion makes the belt.
Yeah.
And obviously, but without the belt, you're not gonna make the paydays that you want to make.
100%.
Obviously, to make the paydays and to be involved in the big fights, you need to be a champion. You need to be in that caliber.
Yeah.
Or mixing it up with the champions.
100%.
So they do mean something to me. They mean a lot. You know what I mean? Obviously,
sure, yeah.
I worked very, very hard as a young boy, and
Yeah.
I made a lot of sacrifices to get to that point.
Yeah.
And for me to not appreciate them,
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense to me. They mean a lot to me. They hang up at my dad's house. So and they're not collecting dust. I can guarantee you of that.
Yeah, but now it's more like you're saying, like obviously you want to, like, you're spending more time with your family at the moment, and you obviously said after this you're gonna go see your wife and your kids. So is that what it is? Because he said like, oh, you know, it's all about my daughters now. It's all about my family.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
look, everything that I've done in my life was for my family.
Right.
You know, it was obviously at the point when I was doing it, my son wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, I always envisioned that what I was doing was to give my family a better future.
For
So
sure.
give myself a better future, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
obviously that's what it's all about. We all work hard and persevere to give ourselves better lives.
100%.
You know, and in saying that, it's not about, you know, just chasing the money and all that, because let's be honest, you know, and be real, at the end of the day, you still end up in the same hole, the same size
Exactly.
hole.
100%.
You don't take nothing with you, but
100%.
the one thing that you do is that you leave things behind for those who come after you. And that's what I, you know, envisioned in my life, is that every move that I make today is not for just me. I make it for my wife and my son, you know, to make sure that I leave everything that I can behind for my son. But obviously not just giving him. I want him to know that he has to work hard for it and earn it.
Yeah.
And be disciplined the same way that I was.
100%. And obviously, you know, we're just talking about it, you're like growing up in Western Sydney, growing up in like our community, there's not many people that make it on the big stage. You know what I mean? Like you got your Hazem Masri, you got like people like that from our community. When I say like our community, like the Lebanese community from Western Sydney. How does someone go from like Western Sydney, like, you know, the usual path that people take, and then end up what you did? Like, how did you start? Like, how did you get into it at the start?
I made choices, man.
Yeah.
I made choices, and everyone is able to make that choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like growing up as a young boy, my best friend was my cousin Ahmed.
Yeah.
You know, and I obviously had a lot of cousins, but my closest cousins were my cousin Ahmed and Sharif. But Sharif was on a different path. He was on a path of school and doing really well.
Yeah.
But my cousin Ahmed and I were stuck deep into the boxing.
Yeah.
And when we were 14, 15, 16, we were doing really well.
Yeah.
And people used to say, wait till you get your license, your life will change.
Yeah.
You know, you'll
that's
start wanting
exactly
to do other
right.
things.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I was like, nah, the only thing that's going to help is me getting to the gym.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because my cousin, as soon as he got his license, his life changed. You know what I mean? He started chasing girls.
Yeah.
You know, he stopped coming to training.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, he could have done something.
Yeah.
He was a very strong kid.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, he could have been anything that he wanted to be, but he decided to go down that route where he wanted to, you know, go out, party, this, that, and the other. And I chose to go in the other route.
Yeah.
And that's what it is you make choices. Everyone has a choice.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that kids in our area don't have choices. They do. And obviously, when it comes to football and things like that, selectors make it a little bit difficult for them.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Being from the
but
heritage and
you gotta
background.
be you gotta be a standout, man.
For sure.
You gotta be a standout. For me, I always wanted to stand out.
Yeah.
Like, I envisioned myself up there with the best, and I would, and I didn't just envision it. I talked it.
Okay.
You know, I talked it, and I made people believe it. You know, so like,
Manifest
you
it.
know, when exactly. For example, I remember the first sponsor that I ever got. It was a real estate agency, and I told him, I said, "Listen, I'm going to be the champion of the world." And I was just like 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
You imagine that you're a 14, 15-year-old telling people
You're
who
gonna be
are
champion.
mature, who are the age that I am today,
Yeah.
in their like 30s, close to their 40s,
They-
saying, "Hey, I'm
I
going to be
believe that,
champion of
yeah.
the world," right?
Yeah.
They sponsored me.
Yeah.
Did they believe that I was going to be champion? Probably not. But they said, you know what? We like your determination and your hunger, and we're going to get behind you. So,
Yeah.
But I really believed in myself. And for me, it didn't matter who believed in me, as long as I believed in myself.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people said I wasn't going to make it. A
Oh,
lot.
100%.
Not
Especially
not
here.
not
The
not a little
doubters,
bit.
yeah.
I'm talking about a lot.
Yeah.
The people that were around me.
Yeah.
And you know, even though your family love you and stuff, you know, I remember being a kid and telling my mom and dad, I'm going to be the next Prince Nassim Hamed. And my dad
Big
was
shoes
like,
to fill.
my dad was like, listen, Habibi,
Yeah.
listen, inshallah.
Mm.
But you know, and I was like, Dad, no, you just don't know, Dad. You don't know the
You just knew
determination
it.
and the
Yeah,
hunger
yeah,
that I have.
yeah.
I promise you, I used to have a boxing bag hung up in my house in the garage.
Yeah.
You know, in my spare time, I used to be punching the bag. I'd be going for runs and whatever. I was so determined.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to stop my climb to the top.
Yeah.
I was so determined, and I see that now in certain people, certain athletes as well.
Mm.
And that's not to say that I don't have the hunger and the determination.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah.
You know, and people say, "Oh, but you're 36 years of age." But hold on one second. Yeah, I am 36 years of age, but I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
yeah,
a
for
Muslim.
sure,
I live
yeah.
clean, man.
Yeah.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I don't take drugs. I don't party.
Yeah.
I don't gamble. I don't do any of those things that could, you know, could
Distractions.
age you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, and the
100%.
thing is, I'm living so clean that my body is my temple.
Yeah.
And here I am, 36. Yeah, but I feel like I'm 26, 27. And the way that I train, believe me when I tell you, 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds aren't keeping up with me.
Yeah.
I'm so determined and hungry. They have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, but you've already been there, you've done that. I said, yeah, but I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry for success. I
hunger
love
doesn't
it.
die.
I
It
love
just
it.
stays,
Look, I
yeah.
love the sport of boxing, and I've
Yeah.
dedicated my life to the sport.
Yeah.
And believe me when I tell you this, when I see the finish line, I'll know to stop.
Mm.
But I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
And when I do, I'll know when to stop.
What would be the finish line?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. The finish line, I haven't
true.
seen it
That's
yet. You
true.
know what I mean? I'm so determined and hungry. Like the guy that I'm facing in my next fight on March 19th, Jacob NG,
Yeah.
you know, I know his thoughts and perception of me now. He's like, oh, he's been there, he's done that, he's old, he's 36. So you have no idea. You have no idea. And you're in for
Yeah.
fucking.
You're in for a surprise.
Yeah, I'm serious.
forward
You're,
to that.
you're in for a treat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because I've been training the house down.
Yeah.
Like I got people that are around me saying, "Man, we haven't seen that from you in years," and it's like once the stakes are high, you're gonna see that from me.
Yeah.
When the stakes aren't so high, it's hard to get up. But this time around, it's like the stakes are high. You know what I mean? It's like, and the reason you might ask me why are the stakes so high this time around? It's like this: I'm fighting an Australian guy. I'm fighting an Aussie, and
Like
I'm
at
Aussie
home.
myself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Aussie myself.
Yeah.
But I've never lost to an Australian.
Yeah.
I've never lost on home soil. Like
Oh.
the one loss that I have on home soil
Yeah.
was to Tevin Farmer, which is a world title fight.
Yeah.
That's at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And my losses, I've had 47 wins and 6 losses.
Yeah.
And my 6 losses have only come at the top of the mountain in world championship fights.
Yeah.
So like I've competed in world title fights and I've won.
Yeah.
And then I've competed in world title fights that I've lost. But in world title fights, you have to understand that's a 50-50, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it could be like 70-20 or 70-30, 80-20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're facing a guy who is at the top of the mountain as well. It's very hard. But in regards to this fight, this kid here is like, I got a lot of respect for him. You know what I mean? He's 15-0. He's hungry.
Yeah.
He's young. But this is world.
But the
this
stakes are
this,
high.
This is Australian level boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself on that level. I consider myself a level above. I consider
level.
myself like world championship material,
Sure,
world
for
caliber
sure.
material.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fought fighters with the caliber of greatness. For example, Amir Khan. So
Yeah.
how was that when you fought Amir
Well, I
Khan?
mean,
Yeah, how does that feel? Like,
I mean, look, the thing is with Amir Khan, he and I have known each other for many, many years.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking many, many years. I'm talking back since 2008, 2007.
Oh, wow. 15 years ago.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. And he actually rung me and said, listen, do you want to fight on my undercard in Saudi Arabia?
Mm.
And I was like, man, that would be great. You know, I'd love that. That'd be fantastic, man. It's history in the making.
Yeah.
First show that Saudi Arabia has ever, like, Saudi Arabia's never opened up for anything like
Only
that.
recently they've been.
Yeah, yeah. Now they're out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest, they're out of
Yeah.
control.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but with the boxing, like, it was the first time that a boxing event was going to take place in
Saudi
the Arab
Arabia,
world.
yeah.
I was like, man, I need to be a part of this.
Yeah.
You know, being the fact that I'm Arab as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Great.
Pakistani and he's getting love, but I'm Arab. You know what I
even
mean? I'm
more,
Arab.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though there's
Yeah.
a lot of Pakistanis and stuff in Saudi Arabia,
Arabia, yeah.
but I'm Arab. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like, I'm a part of the Arab world.
Part of the culture. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So then I said, I got to get on this card.
Yeah.
And then, subhanAllah, man, the way things work is that, you know, me and Amir were talking throughout it and whatever, you know, how's your training going, whatever. And then out of the blue, his manager contacted me and said, listen, man, I need to come to Australia and see you. I said, what are you talking about? I'm going to be in Saudi Arabia in like the next 5-6 days.
Yeah.
And I need to come see you ASAP, man.
Oh, no.
So he flew all the way to see me.
Yeah.
And then he's basically, you know, asked many questions and how you been, whatever. We had a lunch together. And then in the end, he tells me, listen, Amir Khan's opponent's injured himself in a motorbike accident and the show's going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
So, man, what are you talking about? There's a million people that would fight Amir Khan.
Yeah.
And he said to me, and this is truth because at the time, you need a visa to get into Saudi Arabia, as you
Yeah.
guys would know. To get into
Sure.
Saudi Arabia, you need
Yeah.
a visa.
Yeah.
Now you don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
If there's an
Back then.
event and you buy a ticket to the event,
Yeah.
you got an automatic visa,
Yeah.
right? But
Okay.
at the time when it was the first show that was happening in Saudi Arabia,
Yep.
that wasn't the case. So you need a visa, and
needed a
visa
visa.
takes time.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't catching on. But then he said to me, listen, you know,
What are you trying to say?
You got a visa. Would you fight Amir Khan? And I was like,
Oh.
hey, man, my automatic response to him was, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? I
Crazy.
said, listen,
Yeah.
Amir Khan is a welterweight, probably coming in from middleweight, junior middleweight.
Yeah, he's the bigger man.
Yeah,
like,
he's massive.
he's
He
way
was
bigger,
huge.
yeah,
Huge.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm coming in from like 59. And at the time, I was weighing like 61 kilos because
Yeah.
I was getting ready for the fight. You know what I mean? I was fighting a guy that was from Indonesia.
Yeah.
And the offer that he made was so ridiculous, I couldn't turn it down.
In terms of money?
In terms of money, I was
Yeah.
like, man, I've got to take that.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
that's life changing money.
For sure.
It's really was life changing money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
And just the opportunity.
yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
and even though he said to me, he says, Bilal, you know you can't win. And I was like, but I'm gonna knock him out. And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't think you realize how big he is right now. The size
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, you
And-
could tell when I was
yeah,
watching the fight. There's
No,
big
the
si-
size difference is no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and
massive.
even,
yeah.
even though like I caught up with Amir a few days before the fight and whatever, we had a chat and whatever, and I said to him, I said, Amir, I'm gonna try to knock you out, man. And he's like, well, I'm gonna do the same. I said, and it's not hard feelings. We're gonna be brothers at the end of it. It's no big deal, you know. I said,
But a fight's a fight.
I said
It's
to him, look,
different,
I
yeah.
just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate the payday, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
take your head off.
Yeah.
And
Well, you have to believe that. You
yeah, and
can't.
it's crazy
like,
because I
manifest it.
hit him with some shots, man. That would
I
have.
saw a few of them.
I hit him with some shots that would have took other
Yeah.
people out.
Yeah. Just shows the caliber, but
But it's not even the caliber.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's size difference.
The size
Believe me
difference
when
as
I
well.
tell you this. If Billy Dib and Amir Khan were both welterweights, it'd be a
Yeah.
different story. If Billy
Yeah.
Dib and Amir Khan were both super featherweights, it'd be a different story.
yeah.
It'd be a
Weight
more
is a big
competitive fight.
disadvantage. Yeah.
But weight, it plays a big part. You
Yeah.
know what the saying is, right?
Yeah.
A good big man is always going to beat a good little man,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's
That's the
even
reality.
playing field. It's an even playing field until you talk about weights, and that's why there is weight divisions
Yeah.
in boxing
Yeah.
because there's got to be a fairness.
Yeah.
You know, and let's like to be honest with you guys. By the time he and I got in the ring, I was 65 kilos, ringing wet. You know
So
what I mean?
like
Even
like,
though you
still
weigh
not
in the same,
close
it's still that
enough.
period
Yeah.
after.
I
when
was
you
60.
gain,
Like,
yeah.
listen,
yeah.
Yeah.
I weighed in at 65 on the day of the weigh-in, drinking water. Like I went to
Yeah.
the weigh-in, drinking and eating and everything.
Yeah,
I didn't have to
stuck on a
watch
bit
my
of
weight.
size, yeah.
Usually, when you go to the weigh-in, you're a bit dry. You're pushing yourself to make weight.
Yeah.
On that day, I wasn't doing
like
none of that.
Having
Neither
water
was
and
I doing the day before. And in
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, it was hot.
Yeah.
When he went to the weigh-in, he looked like a dead man. He looked like a corpse.
Oh wow.
He was
Because
so
he had to
skinny.
cut. He
Yeah,
had
he
to
had
cut
to
weight,
cut. He
yeah.
was
But
skinny.
still, he didn't cut enough.
No, he did.
He
He
did?
came in at the welterweight limit, which was 66 point something.
Yeah.
The next day,
You don't fight at the
Yeah.
weight though.
When
They
he
still
and
have
I
that
got in
time.
the ring,
Yeah.
he had been given more than 40 hours to recover to make the because the weigh-in was at 9 a.m. in the morning,
Still
which
has
is the
time
weigh-in
to-
usually weigh-ins are in the
In
evening.
the evening.
Yeah.
His was in the morning. Ours was in the morning. Say by the time we got in the ring was the next day,
Night.
midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So you
Still
can
has
imagine
a
how much weight.
chance.
I could tell you now when I got to the arena, the WBC weighed us in. I was 65, and I asked them how much he weighed. They said 77.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
how
over
much-
10
How
kilos.
the hell does he?
difference.
How do people
Look,
put on that sort of weight?
I think they put it on, but through just like taking
Liquids
the
and-
drip.
Yeah,
the drip
well,
and
it's gotta
stuff,
be.
intravenous.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? They put the freaking
They put the
the drip in and that, and so like but look, at the end of the day, I don't really care. You know what I mean? The truth is that nobody even talks about the fight. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I'm a little man. I was never even supposed to be in
Yeah.
the ring with Amir Khan. And
You had
for me-
nothing to lose.
Yeah,
to be
and,
honest.
like for me, it was everything to gain.
Yeah, exactly. It was
And,
everything to
and,
gain,
and,
yeah.
and listen, my son was on the verge of being born, and you know what? Kudos to Amir Khan for giving me the opportunity because guess what? He allowed me to give my son a better life than I could have.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like one payday in boxing can change your life.
yeah.
Especially if you live the way that I live and I'm living clean and I'm not taking drugs and gambling and all that stuff.
You don't spend your money crazy.
I can make the money work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I wasn't looking at okay, I need to go buy a car and I need to do this and I need to do that. No, I invested the money correctly
Yeah.
in order to when you have money, you can invest
Generate
money.
wealth. Yeah.
So you didn't really make lavish purchases or anything
No.
No,
like
I
that.
didn't do none of that.
Buy a
Look,
Ferrari or
I've been blessed. I've got
Yeah.
great people around me. Like, somebody who deserves a lot of credit is a guy by the name of Sid David,
Yeah.
who's come on board as an amazing sponsor and an amazing mentor and a friend. And you know what? Not only did he sponsor me, but he also gave me a car.
Oh,
And
right.
The car that he gave me was like, I feel lavish in the car as it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I didn't have to go spend money on a car.
Yeah.
For me, it's more about make sure my wife's comfortable. She's
That's
got
the
a
way.
nice car.
Yeah. For sure.
Like
Supporting the family.
Yeah, the one thing that I've noticed after having a son is that, you know, I might want something and I'll get it.
Yeah.
But on the, like, if I see something that I like from my son, I'll rather get that from my son
For
than
your son.
me.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not about me anymore.
Nah.
I don't care about really me anymore. It's about those around me.
Yeah. And that's what you do it. That's
Yeah.
why you do it, you know, just to
Yeah.
build for your family.
For
And,
me,
you know,
that's all it is, man. Family is everything to me. And, you know, there's not many people like me out there. I can guarantee you now.
for sure.
Like in regards to that feeling, like for me, it's like I put people before me.
Yeah.
And
And-
maybe that's
yeah.
been a deficit to my life, but I don't care.
Mm.
At the end of the day, they say, you know, Hassan tak ma Allah.
Mm.
You know,
sure,
for me,
for sure.
like I'd rather help people than help myself.
100%.
Wow.
And people say to me, help yourself first before you help people.
Yeah.
I said, I'm all right. أنا بخير وسلامة, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm خير وسلامة, and it's,
That's it.
you know, as long as I'm like
good
that, I
for
can help
others.
other people, you know what I mean? That's it.
100%. You saw like the heights, the very heights of like when obviously you got with 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather and, you know, people like that and their promotion and everything fell out. How did that feel at that moment where it's like you reached that height and obviously you're on the
IBF
verge,
champ and yeah.
IBF champ, you're at the top of your career, and then obviously coming back and things just flip on its head.
Yeah, look, for me, it's all a part of the journey.
Yeah,
The journey of what Allah had written for me.
100%.
Because everything that happens and everything that befalls you is only by the permission of Allah.
Mhm.
And I understand that and I get that and I accept that.
Mm.
And if I didn't, maybe I wouldn't be who I am today.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of things that have happened in my life that
It's a test.
would have broke a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's like, and then I think to myself, well, I'm not the only person that it's happening to, you know.
Mm.
And so, like, even in regards to the fallout between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather, that affected a lot of fighters, not just me.
Mm.
It affected Gamboa.
Mm.
It affected, you know, Andre Durrell.
Yep, yep.
You know, like a lot of fighters were really affected by the situation of what went down between Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent.
Mm.
On a personal level, it affected me a lot. You know what I mean? Because in the end, 50 Cent robbed me for over $1 million.
Oh,
And
wow.
Wow.
that was because of the fallout between him and Floyd.
Mm.
Then when I decided to work with 50 Cent, not Floyd,
Yeah.
which was not by my choice,
Yeah.
it was my hands were tied
Mm.
because I had taken certain things from 50 Cent and I wasn't in a position to give them back.
Yeah.
And Floyd Mayweather basically had me blacklisted from certain networks.
Oh, wow.
So he
To
was
that
so
extent.
he's so powerful that he could tell the network,
Yeah.
listen, if you put Billy Dib on, forget dealings with me. You know,
Wow.
so that's how powerful he was. You know,
the
at
money, because of the
yeah,
the
and
money he had.
at the time,
Yeah.
I was at the peak heights of my career
Yeah.
in regards to becoming world champion.
Yeah.
You know, at the time there was 4 champions in the featherweight division.
Yeah.
There was me.
Yeah.
There was Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
There was Daniel Ponce de Leon,
Yeah.
and there was Chris John.
Yeah.
So I was the IBF champion.
Mhm.
From
Is there
memory,
like WBC.
yeah,
and
no,
WB?
from
Yeah.
memory, I was IBF champion.
Mhm.
Mikey Garcia was the WBO champion. Ponce de Leon was the WBC champion,
Yeah.
and Chris John was the WBA champion.
Oh,
So
wow.
we had 4 champions,
all
and they're
4
all solid champions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, and I was thinking more at the time about unification bouts and all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
and that's what I was talking to 50 Cent and Floyd about.
Yeah.
When they had the fallout, you know what I mean? I was like, man, you know, and I was still on a voluntary defense because I had just made my so there's you're mandated to fight the number 1 contender, and I had just
Yeah.
stopped the number 1 contender, which was Eduardo Escobedo.
So you were next.
So
in
now
line.
my next fight's are voluntary, so I can pick whoever I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, I wanted to face one of the other champions to try to unify the titles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And, you know, after the fallout between 50 and Floyd and being blacklisted from certain networks, man, I was sat out for like 8 months from the ring,
I
which
can't
was
believe
like
you've done that. I didn't
from
know
a
you'd
long,
done
a
that.
long part of my career. I sat out when I was champion, waiting to get in the ring to fight. And, you know, you could imagine bills were piling up, you know,
Yeah.
training camp expenses and all that stuff. Fight after fight was getting cancelled. And then in the end, when I eventually got to the point where I was fighting I was fighting on a show
Yeah.
in Connecticut,
Yeah.
and my opponent was supposed to be Luis Franco, who was a Cuban,
Okay. Yeah.
and then 50 Cent tried to lowball him with an offer
Oh.
with shit money, basically.
Yeah.
$15,000 to fight in
Really?
the world title fight, yeah,
Really?
which is shit
That's
money.
crap.
15,000.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Very bad.
Yeah.
See, so like I think Luis Franco's team didn't understand. They didn't turn up to the purse bid. So when we went to the purse bid,
What's the purse bid?
it's where you put a bid in to stage the fight. And 50 Cent put in a low bid so that obviously my minimums are going to get paid to me. But
Yeah.
from the purse bid that 50 Cent put in, this kid's only entitled to like 15 grand.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, as he decides that he's going to retire from boxing.
Your
Yeah,
opponent.
yeah. Franco decides,
yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm retiring, and that's
Yeah.
it. And he walks away.
Wow.
Anyway, then so they go to the next available opponent, which is at the time his name was Mauricio something, who he was an Argentinian.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he wasn't happy with the offer. Fight falls over again.
Why was he lowballing him?
I don't know. I have no idea. That was probably the biggest mistake that he ever made. Because in the end,
Yeah.
we ended up with this Russian kid who was Evgeny Gradovich,
Yeah.
who was the guy who eventually became the demise of Billy Dib, and he beat
Yeah.
me.
He was undefeated, wasn't he?
He was undefeated,
Yeah.
and he was just a really rough and rugged guy. Really
Mm-hmm.
rough and just tough and whatever. But it's not that he was tougher than me. I was tough. You know,
Mm.
it was a back and forth battle, our
Yeah.
first fight. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one judge scored the fight for me, which I thought that I won. You know, I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
everyone around me thought that I won.
Yeah.
50 Cent got in the ring. He's like, yeah, you've won. Even at the time, there was a gentleman by the name of Sean Gibbons who was working with us. Said,
Yeah.
no, you've won the fight.
Yeah.
And even Lou DiBella, who was the promoter of the event that night, said, no, you've won the fight.
Yeah.
So when they read out the scorecards, 115, 113, Billy Dib, I was thinking, okay, I got the decision. Then they said 114, 113, 114, 113. He ended up beating me by 1 point. And the referee deducted a point off me in like round 9 or 10 for holding, which was garbage. That was the point. That was the difference in the whole fight. 1 point.
1 point.
You know, and so in the end, look, and then when I guess from that point, I was just so devastated and heartbroken. You know, even though there was a rematch clause in place,
Yeah.
I just wasn't the same fighter the determination and the hunger that I had was gone for a little while. I was so
Just sort of demoralizing.
yeah, I was
yeah.
disappointed in the sport of
Yeah.
boxing. I was disappointed. I was heartbroken about the way that I had been treated. You know, and I felt like, man, I'd made it this far.
Yeah.
I'd made it this far to not come that far. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it was
yeah,
one of those
yeah,
things. I was
yeah.
like, man,
It's hard to swallow.
I
It's
was
a
right
hard
at the
pill.
point, at that pinnacle point, you know, and like
Close. Yeah.
one different move could have just been the difference in a whole different career, you know. But again, everything only happens by the
Happens
will of
for a reason,
Allah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, let's be honest. Maybe had I won, things might have been different today. Maybe I would be a little bit more arrogant or whatever it is, or you know, maybe I would have bought a car and you
Yeah.
know smashed that car and killed myself. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I always paint a scenario. You know, they always say in Islam, they say, give your fellow brother as
Yeah.
many excuses as you can for something. They say that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I always look at like, okay, maybe Allah did this for that reason. Maybe He did it for this reason. Maybe, you know what I mean? And let me tell you something, man. Look, I'm happy and content where I am in life today. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change it for the world. You know, it's like, you know, I was married once upon a time. My wife passed away. You know what I mean? I'm remarried now with a child.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't change that for the world because who I'm married to today and the son that I have, I wouldn't swap that for
Yeah.
anything.
SubhanAllah, like everything.
You know,
Things
and-
just fall into
in
Yeah,
place.
so Allah has given me more than I deserve, and I'm grateful, man. And I hope to use my experiences in my career and in my life to advise and to guide other young people who are,
the youth. Yeah.
you know, not necessarily wanting to be fighters,
No.
but just in general.
Take the
young
right
In
path.
any
Yeah.
aspect of life. Just,
Yeah, I just want to give
yeah.
people hope and you know the self-belief that I had, the belief that I had in myself. I want to try to instill that in people, and it's not something that's easily done.
It's very hard
Yeah,
with
it's
this
very-
generation.
You want to
Very
do
hard.
something in your life, you know, you can do it as long as you're willing to put in the hard work. And so I think the next stage for me in my life now is that, you know, with boxing, I still love boxing.
Yeah.
But I'm a realist and I understand that it doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
So for me, inshallah, like, you know, I want to work with, you know, work with disabled kids and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Kids who really need me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've got a lot
Giving
of,
back. Just
like, subhanAllah, you know, like I've got my cousin Nasreen, my cousin Muhammad, who have been wheelchair bound their whole lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My cousin Muhammad, subhanAllah, he's married with 4 kids. He's been
Oh,
in
wow.
a wheelchair his whole life.
Wow.
You know, and then my brother Yusuf recently, a couple of years ago, his son's only 2 years older than my son.
Yeah.
His son has got cerebral palsy. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
like he has struggle walking and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But alhamdulillah, he's kicking goals. You know, he's they said he'll never walk. His kids like, you know, taking steps and doing things, and that's only by the permission of God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nothing else.
Nah, for
Only,
sure.
like doctors can tell you one thing, but Allah's got other plans for other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I think the one thing that'll give me happiness is to, you know, work with those who are in need.
Yeah.
You know, people who need help. I want to
sure.
help those who are in need.
Yeah.
That's the next goal for me in my life.
And even the youth, like these days, the youth, they look at certain role models that, you know, although they are good in some sort aspects of life, like success and stuff, but you reach those levels of success, but you manage to stay humble and manage to, like, you know, get back on the right path. Because some
Stay
people,
steadfast,
they reach
yeah.
that success, they go crazy. You know, they end up doing drugs, they end up doing this, they end up going off the rails. But you managed to actually stay on the right path because temptations are real. You know,
Yeah, of
obviously, at reaching those heights, you know, things
They're
come
very
external
easily
factors,
accessible. Like
very
the-
easily
yeah.
accessible. So your faith, you know,
It was
being
only
Muslim.
it was only my faith, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. And
yeah.
it's like, you know, as a young boy, you have certain people in your life who instill certain things in you.
Yeah.
And although my father had 6 boys and 1 girl, 7
Yeah.
children, he managed to instill that into every single one of us.
Mm.
And so, you know, I remember conversations with my dad from when I was like 17 and certain things, you know, like from a young age, my dad had us praying.
Yeah.
And obviously as a kid, you know, like I used to tell my dad, like my dad would say, Salat. And I say, yeah. I used to go sit in a room.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But most of 95% of the time, my father would make us pray with him, behind him. You know what I mean? So
That's good. Yeah.
whether we were concentrating or not concentrating, whether we were playing tooties or whatever behind his back, didn't matter. But we were there. My father was instilling that in us about the prayers. You know, and then I remember when I was 17,
Yeah.
and I remember this conversation I had with my dad, and my dad was telling me, he's like, listen, man, you know, you'll get on a plane, you go visit this person, you go do this, you run for certain things, but Allah's telling you that if you don't pray your 5 prayers a day, you don't do your zakat, then my dad and he was like, you're not gonna have any success, and your success only comes from Allah.
100%.
So you know, I started thinking, man, nah, I better put in my prayers and whatever, you know. So and then, even though maybe when I was younger, I was praying because I wanted to win. You know what I mean? Because I thought if I don't pray, then Allah's not going to let me win. So let me pray because Allah will give me the victory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I won and sometimes I didn't. I didn't blame God. I just said,
No,
alhamdulillah,
for
it is
sure,
what it
yeah.
is.
Of course. Yeah.
But, you know, it was instilled in me. You got to pray, you got to pray, you got to pray, you got to pray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That success only comes from God. All these things that my dad instilled in me, and I was like, I got it. I
Yeah.
understood it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anytime anything ever happened to me in my life, I was like, man, that's only from God. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
So you learn to appreciate everything in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Take the
No
little things.
doubt. I just
Yeah.
I knew that the success that I've had in my life was only from God, and I've only remained humble and steadfast because I know that Allah can either give or take,
Or take. Yeah.
and Allah's
Accept
taken
that.
from me,
Yeah.
but He's
But
given
it's
me as
given
well.
back.
Provided, yeah.
It's no
Everything
problem.
you lose comes back to you. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, Sarah passed away. I made certain mistakes after Sarah passed away, but then Allah awadni.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say awadni, like He gave me a good person in my life. Like my wife is she's good to me. You know what I mean? And on top of that, she gave me the greatest gift of all times, which is my son, who
100%.
I wouldn't change for the world and everything in
Yeah.
it. That's the truth.
You appreciate life as well. Like, obviously, you talk about your wife that passed away, and you realize like how short life is, and like, you know, we chase all these things and that,
Yeah.
but we're all gonna end up at the same hole, as you said. Like,
Look, exactly. We you know, it's good to have. Look, I'm not saying that it's not. It's good to be content in your life.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
contentment is a great thing.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you don't
Just
strive
sit
and
back and do
no,
nothing.
no.
Yeah, no.
You got to strive to be better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you need to be content, man. Okay, I'm content.
What's content? You know?
No, I'm content,
Yeah,
but I'm still striving
yeah,
to better my life, to better my family's life. That's what it's all about.
for sure. Yeah.
You know, people will tell you to be content, but you look at them, they're still trying to build houses and
Yeah,
wealth and whatever.
they're
it is.
chasing
Why are you
wealth.
doing all that?
Exactly.
But you're telling me to be content. Nah, man,
Yeah.
you need to be content in your life. No, don't tell me to
Yeah.
be content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am content.
Yeah.
You see me not being content, I am very content, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to strive
To strive
to
forward,
better
yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And that's my advice to people out there is that, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really good to be content
Yeah.
and strive to, but hey, man, strive to be better. Because if you better yourself and you better your life circumstances, then you might be able to help other people.
100%.
And that's, to be honest with you, helping other people, that's where the happiness comes, man.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, you know, if I can help other people, that's great.
That's the, yeah.
I love it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm in a position to tell somebody,
Yeah.
no, you know what? A lot of kids message me saying, man, I want to be just like you. I said, no, inshallah, you're going to be better than me. And many people said that to me on the way up.
Yeah.
Like Prince Nassim, he used to say to me, when I used to say, Nas, inshallah, I want to be like you one day. He says, no, inshallah, you'll be better than me. Whether he really meant it or not, it didn't matter.
But you heard those
But the
words.
fact
Yeah.
that he said that to me,
Yeah.
maybe he
Yeah.
really didn't mean it.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
Hearing that.
Even
Hearing-
something simple as that
But,
can
but,
really
the
change
but the
you.
truth is,
Yeah.
wallah, I'll be honest with you, wallah, I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. For certain people, when I say to them, inshallah, you'll be better than me, I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like from the core of my heart, I mean it.
Yeah.
I hope you outdo me. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because my success gave you a platform to better yourself.
100%.
That's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. You see these kids these days, they're coming up. A lot of the kids, especially from our community, most of them do boxing. There's a lot of kids that do boxing. But then you just see them, like, as you said, they get to a certain age and they sort of, I don't know if they lose interest or they find,
They drift.
distractions.
Yeah.
What's your biggest advice to these kids that right now, if they're doing boxing at the moment and
Yeah.
they're looking at you and they say, I want to be like Billy. I want to be an IBF champion. I want to, get to the top of the top.
Yeah.
What's your best piece of advice? To them?
My advice to anybody out
Yeah.
there, regardless if you want to be a boxer, a football
Yeah.
player, a soccer player, whether
Yeah.
you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is that you want to do in your life,
Yeah.
you have to understand that it's all started with a vision.
Yeah.
You didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, you had a vision about it.
vision,
You got to manifest that vision,
Yep.
right? You think about it. You think about the pros and the cons and whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you think, you know what? No, I actually want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought when I was a kid. When I walked into the boxing gym at the age of 12,
Yeah.
right in that moment, that first day in the gym, I said, this is exactly what I want to do.
That's it. You cemented it.
Nothing is
Yeah.
going to stop me. This is
Yeah.
exactly what I want to do, and nothing is going to stop me. So right at that point, I manifested it. Then
Yeah.
what I did was I did all the research to work out about who the fighters were,
Yep.
what was what. Obviously, I knew who Mike Tyson was. I knew who
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali was.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Prince Nassim Hamed was.
Okay. Yeah.
You hear it from a lot of champions when they ask them, how does it feel when they win the championship belt? They say it feels okay, but I always knew I was going to be champion.
Yeah. Always
hear
in
a
my
lot.
mind. you're
Yeah,
champion.
like I always had a belief that I would get there someday, right? But going back to what I was saying to you, and what you were asking me the question about what would my advice be.
Yeah.
So regardless of what do you want, whatever it is that you want to do in your life, whether it
Yeah.
is, sport, law, whether it's just being a job, having a regular job, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because some people are content to just have a regular job, which is
Yeah.
cool.
That's their life.
You can't
yeah, that's their
hate on
choice.
that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you want to do, vision
Yeah.
is the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is the next thing that comes. Because if you're not consistent in your approach in everything that you do, you will not have
Forget it.
success.
Yeah.
But if you've got a vision, you're consistent, the only thing that can come after that is success.
Mm.
If you're consistent in your approach in what you do, you will find success.
Mm.
I'm not saying that you'll find monster success.
No.
Some do and some don't.
Yeah.
Listen, let's be honest. Allah has written for people what they're going to have.
It's already
You're not-
all written.
You're
for
not
you.
going to have any less or
Any
any
more.
more. You're going to have exactly what God has written for you. Right? That's it. Not a dime less.
Yeah.
But if you've got a vision and you're consistent in your approach, you'll definitely find success.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter.
It always starts with a dream.
And
That's what it is.
and along the way, you might change your mind, but that's all right. As long as you continue to grow from that point. Don't go
Don't
backwards.
go backwards. Just
Don't go backwards.
forward.
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Keep bettering your life and keep bettering your circumstances by moving forward.
Yeah.
Never give up on your hopes and your dreams. It's like for example, today I retire from boxing. Does that mean my life is over? No. It just means the next chapter has started.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever I do in my life, I'm gonna be the best at it.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe they don't think I will be, but in my
But
belief,
you've heard that before, and
yeah,
you've proved them wrong.
I'm gonna be the
Proved them
best
wrong.
that I can be.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Yeah.
Being the best that you can be is what's most important. Not the best of what he thinks of you. No.
Yeah.
It's the best about how you feel. Like
You know
what?
yourself.
Let's just say, you want to be a garbage cleaner. Just saying.
Yeah.
Be the best at it.
Okay.
Do it with enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Do it with like drive. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because when you enjoy what you do, it's not hard. I love what
Everything
I do.
else comes.
I
It
love
doesn't feel
boxing.
like work. It feels
Yeah,
like
look, for example, you're saying, oh man, you know, like how hard could it really be? No, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard
For
to
sure.
It's hard to want like when I go to
Want
boxing
to get hit
training.
in the face.
Yeah,
it's
when I
hard.
go to boxing training, it's hard, but I love it. I love the grind, man. I love feeling like I'm soaked in sweat. I love going for that run and feeling like I'm drowning in sweat. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And when I don't enjoy it anymore, that's when I've reached the finish line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man, I'd rather stay in bed today.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to boxing training today. That's when you know you're getting closer to the finish line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's a good point.
And
Enthusiastic.
you want to finish. You don't want to get finished.
Yeah.
You want to finish. You understand that?
You wanna finish
You want
on
to
your own
finish it
accord.
yourself. Like,
yeah,
You want to finish and not get finished. You know what I mean? So like you want to get to that point where like, you know what, you've made the decision that it's time to walk away. It's not time to walk away because you made that decision for me. Because you knocked,
okay.
because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
knocked me
yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I say get finished, I'm talking about my opponent.
Yeah.
Like if look, let's just say now I'm fighting on March 19th.
Yeah.
You know, March 1st comes and I'm not feeling the best. I'm
Yeah.
not in the positive state of mind and I'm not feeling like, oh man, this has been a really tough camp and I don't know whether I could do it. It's probably better for me to say, you know what, I'm going to pull the pin because boxing's not one of them games you want to play.
Yeah.
It's not
You don't play boxing.
You don't play boxing.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm sure
you
you
hear that
guys
a lot. Yeah,
Heard
you,
that, yeah.
you don't you don't play boxing.
Yeah.
You don't play a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I look at it.
well, we look at the examples such as Anthony Mundine, who I get inspired by a lot. But you see, in his last fight, it got to a point where, in his career, where it's past his prime, and it's time to like.
Yeah.
Holyfield as well. He fought like
Holyfield as
recently.
well,
Yeah.
And he's 50 something.
Yeah.
And, it's
Sometimes I don't blame the fighter. I blame the industry for doing that to them. You know, like
as you said,
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you can't refuse an offer.
like for example, the industry of boxing should have never done that to Evander Holyfield.
For sure. For sure.
They
And-
shouldn't have sanctioned
sad
that
seeing
fight.
Yeah,
Fighting
no,
like
it shouldn't
that,
be
you know?
sanctioned. It should not
Yeah.
be sanctioned,
No
and the
way.
people that around should be prosecuted for that because
Yeah.
you can't allow a person to risk their health for your entertainment.
Yeah.
That's just retarded.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And like the people around Evander Holyfield should have been smarter to say, no, look, champ, you don't need this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, people are driven by money.
Yeah.
Money is
That's
the root of all
thing.
evil.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's
Yeah, you're
disgusting, right?
Yeah.
It's and that whole saga around that company that was doing them bogus shows. You know what I mean? With Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr.
Triller.
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 sorry.
They got no idea, man. They're a bunch of people that are on crack. That's
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
Sitting behind the
big
mic
money
smoking
maker.
weed and stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
good luck to them. You know.
Yeah.
I don't hate on anybody. I mean, don't put people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
You know, don't risk people's lives, man. Like this, you're talking about a great Evander Holyfield's a
Yeah.
great.
Like a legend.
You know,
It
it's
hurt to seem like
Look,
that
it's not.
even, yeah.
It's not even registered on his record because really, it's an exhibition.
Mm.
And you ever seen the movie Rocky 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Apollo gets knocked out by Drago and his trainer runs in and he goes, man, this is supposed to be an exhibition.
Yeah.
An exhibition bout. You're not supposed to
It's
hurt
just
the
like,
person.
it's like
Yeah,
a spa.
It's
you're
like
cruising,
spa, yeah.
man. You're supposed to cruise, work on a few things, have a little bit of fun, entertain the crowd. Don't hurt the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Don't-
like Tyson versus
Especially
Roy
Holyfield.
Jones. That was
yeah,
more of an exhibition.
that's entertainment,
That was-
man.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. You know what I mean? That's entertainment.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. You know, no one was trying to hurt anybody. You know, they just went out there to have some fun.
Yeah.
That's what it's all
Yeah.
about. But you know, in regards to Anthony Mundine, man, he's one of the greatest athletes that Australia's ever produced. One of.
Yeah.
Okay, there's been a lot of great athletes, but he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about Anthony Mundine. The brother can play anything.
Yeah.
He can play basketball.
He's an
He can
athlete.
play rugby
He's an
league.
athlete.
All
He
round.
can box.
Yeah.
You know, he could do it. I'm sure he could have been whatever he wanted to be. And let me tell you, his sons are absolutely phenomenal. Like he's
Yeah.
got a son called CJ who's a good rugby league player.
Yeah.
You know, he's got another son who is an amazing basketball player,
Following the footsteps.
Anthony Jr. You know, so like
Yeah.
it's a family of talent.
Mm.
But did Anthony Mundine overstay his boxing welcome here? He did.
Mm.
But you gotta understand, he was making that kind of money that, you know, that a lot of fighters have made.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for him to walk away. And you know, I understand where he's coming from. You know, to walk away on the, for example, the loss to Jeff Horn was hard for him.
Yeah.
But you can't keep going back to the wall. And I'll tell you something about boxing. It's very, very simple. Get a tin can.
Yeah.
Go get a can of Coke.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the can of Coke is hard,
Yeah.
right? But keep tapping the can of Coke in the same place
Yeah.
10, 20, 30 times. Guess
Yeah.
what? Eventually you dent the can.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's how the human body is.
Yeah.
Eventually we get dented.
Yeah.
You know, and when Anthony Mundine was a younger man, he could take shots really well.
Yeah.
You know, even though he got knocked down and stuff, knocked
could
down,
take, yeah.
he could take him
Yeah.
better than not. You know,
Yeah.
he could take him.
Yeah.
But in the end, this goes, man.
Your chin
Yeah.
can only take so
Listen.
much.
So
Yeah.
much.
Listen, it's called resistance. Once the resistance is gone, it's over.
Mm.
You cannot get the resistance back. There's nothing you can train to get the resistance back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's finished.
That's something you can't train
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Like, you know, it happens, man. It
Yeah.
happens to the best of us.
It does.
It really does. You know, like, and Mundine's knockdowns aren't flash. Like, he's getting clocked and getting knocked out. You know what I mean? It's not good for the brain, man.
No.
And, you know,
definitely not.
and now, I love him. He's made the right decision. You know, he said, you know,
You got to walk away.
enough
sometimes,
is
yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I've had a great career, which he had an amazing
Which you
career,
did,
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, he left a football contract of 600 grand a year
Mm.
behind. Went on to
Follow boxing.
make millions and millions of dollars.
Mm.
I would say upwards of 20 million.
Mm.
You know, from a footy
Wow.
career that was earning 600 grand a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Paul Gallen. He's boxing
Same
today.
thing. Yeah.
Paul Gallen, he's made more money from boxing in the last couple of years than he's made from his whole footy career.
Wow.
From his whole footy career. But you have to understand, football gave him a platform.
It did. It started.
Football
Without
gave
the
him
It's like
ball-
Jake
because
Paul.
no fighter, no fighter is making money
With no
with
platform.
just coming from boxing,
Yeah,
like from
yeah.
from actually look. Unless you've won a gold medal or something like that at the Olympic Games or done something special like that, you're not gonna really get that platform. But like for example, Danny Green is Danny Green
Yeah.
because of Anthony Mundine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
fights they had,
Without
yeah.
the rivalry of Anthony Mundine and Danny Green wouldn't have made the money that he made.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be thankful for when Anthony Mundine comes to the sport. And I am truly thankful to Anthony Mundine because he gave a lot of people a chance to make money in the sport of boxing, me
Sure.
included.
What do you think about Jake Paul? Do you think
Hon-
he's
hon-
coming from a social media background?
Honestly, I think like Jake Paul, he's cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I really, really do like him, man. I'm
Yeah,
not hating on Jake Paul at all. Like, you know,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, he's fighting. Listen, the only thing that I'm probably critical towards Jake Paul of, there's only one thing.
Yeah.
You're a boxer who's fighting UFC fighters in a
True,
boxing
true.
ring.
Hasn't
In a
fought
boxing ring.
Proper boxer.
If he fought a UFC fighter in a UFC ring, he'd probably get knocked out,
Yeah, it'd be a different story.
right? But he's fighting UFC fighters in a boxing ring. But did he try to fight a boxer? He did in Tommy Fury. But Tommy Fury really,
Yeah.
the only thing that like
His household name is what
His brother,
listen,
like,
brings him.
the only
Tyson
reason
Fury.
that Tommy Fury is Tommy Fury because of Tyson Fury.
100%. Yeah.
Like
agree,
he's
yeah.
famous for being on a TV show.
Yeah. Love,
He's not
Love
really-
Island. Yeah. Yeah.
Love Island.
He ain't really a boxer, but
Yeah.
hey, he's got a professional boxing record.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do I think about, you know, the Paul brothers? I think, man, they're bringing a lot of attention to the sport of
Yeah. I
boxing.
think it's a good thing as well.
Yeah, they're bringing a lot of attention to the sport of boxing. They're
Yeah.
bringing eyes that were never there. And let me tell you something, they're creating paydays for
Oh.
people who would have never earned that money. Like
Yeah.
Amanda Serrano, for
Exactly. I
example.
saw that. Yeah.
Amanda
The-
Serrano, in her next fight's going to make $1 million. A
Yeah.
female.
fighting Taylor.
Female
Katie,
fighter.
Katie Taylor or
Right,
something,
but
yeah.
she's been getting, he's been paying, like giving her 500 grand, 400 grand for her fights.
Still a lot of money, man.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money. You know, good on him.
Yeah.
And if I ever see him, man, I'll shake his hand.
Oh, 100%.
Tell him you're an absolute legend, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had a way that I could, I'm sure if I wanted to try to get in touch with him, I could find him.
Yeah.
I could get him.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I could say one thing, I would say, man, you're an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving people paydays that deserve it.
That's what people don't look at. They're just like, oh, you know, he's
Nah,
winning
you
boxing,
can't
this,
hate
that.
on that, man. Listen,
Nah,
but
you can't.
you know, when 50 Cent came into the boxing game, if 50 Cent listened to me,
Yeah.
we could have made a lot of money. But
Mm.
he didn't listen to me. But my whole thing was, imagine doing a concert,
Yeah.
a music concert, right?
Yeah.
A music concert by 50 Cent would sell out
Oh,
It-
100%.
like,
yeah.
instantly,
yeah, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine doing a concert and having a concert set up, but in the center of the concert have a boxing ring, right?
Oh.
And like have it like sort of
Like while the concert is.
no, like there's there's a concert, but it's
Yeah.
like sort of got the the perimeter lines in it. There's a boxing ring in there where the judge can sit and stuff.
Yeah.
And in between the concert, you stop and then people turn and watch the boxing fight. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You would have
that'd
been
be
bringing
different.
more ice to boxing
Yeah.
because now you've got a crowd of people who love music
Watching
now
boxing
watching
as well.
boxing.
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
probably don't care about boxing, but because it's a 50 Cent show and whatever,
Yeah.
50 Cent was all for it, man. Why it didn't happen, I don't know. But he didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did, he and I would have made a lot of money.
Mm.
And we could have kept the title here in Australia and defended it here. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
brought
for
people
sure.
here and not have to go to the US.
Yeah.
People have this thing about, I need to go to the US and I need to. No, man, you don't need to do nothing. If
yeah,
you're
it's
champion of the world, look, obviously, if you want to get that really big name and all that stuff, you got to go to the UK, the US and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, Mundine fought out of Australia only on a few occasions. How
Yeah.
wealthy is he?
Oh, yeah.
Like extremely wealthy. Look, and boxing is one of them sports. Like if you've got the right backing and look at Tim Tszyu.
Yeah.
He's got people
climbing,
that are
yeah.
backing him. They're bringing all of his opposition to Australia. Yeah, I know his next fight's going to be in America, but once he wins that world title,
He can come back.
he's going to come back
yeah.
and he's going to bring him here
Yeah.
because he's got the backing to do it.
Yeah.
So
Same
you
with Cambosis.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
don't you don't always have to. Nah, look, the thing with Cambosis is that he went overseas, he chased it,
Yeah.
he got it.
Fought a
And
hard
he's
but-
bringing it back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's brought it back, but whether or not he can generate the money to bring these people here is still not
well,
seen.
That's the hard part.
Still not seen.
Americans have a thing where in like boxing I don't know what it is. It's like we're like away from them and they think that, especially
far.
in that fight, that he was
Yeah.
a big underdog and
Yeah.
they thought, oh, this
They
guy's
don't take it
Australian.
seriously.
Look,
Yeah.
he out of 99% of the world, maybe or 100%, 99% picked him to lose. I
Yeah,
was one of them.
yeah.
I wanted him to win,
Me too.
I wanted him to win.
Yeah.
but that 1% was like, yeah, he'll win. The 99% was like, nah, man, it's gonna be too hard. Luckily for him, and I say it, luckily for him, everything fell into place for him on that night. Tiafimo was not the Tiafimo that
That
we
he
know.
knows.
That we know.
Yeah.
He's not the Tiafimo that we usually know. Obviously he had a lot of things going on, but that's all part of Allah's plan for Cambosis.
There you go.
Everything that happened to Tiafimo was all planned by Allah for Cambosis to get that win.
Yeah.
So it was written for him.
Predetermined.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Whether he keeps the titles or not is unforeseen because now he's got to face
A
the
lot of
Devin
contenders
Haney's.
there.
He's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
face the
Do you think
Lemachenkos.
he'll go undisputed?
Honestly, I'd like to see him do it, but I think it's a very, very hard thing. Listen, but whatever he does from this point on, he's already legendary. What he's done is
Yeah.
legendary.
I think he's
Coming in
gone.
as that much of an underdog.
I think he's gone past what any
Bit-
other Australian boxer has done.
No, nowhere near.
Really?
Nowhere near. Look, man, look, he had one good win. And he was lucky that the guy that he beat had the titles. But
He had 3 of the major belts or 4.
yeah, 3.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, look, man, let's be honest. We've had some great fighters who have achieved some amazing things. Like Jeff Fennick, Lionel
Costa Tszyu.
Lionel Rose, Costa Tszyu, Johnny Famechon. We've had some really, really great fighters. What George Kambosos is awesome. He's done great,
yeah.
and it's it's an amazing achievement. But it's not the greatest achievement from an Australian boxer. Far from it,
yeah.
man. Far from it. Like, when Lionel Rose beat Fighting Harada, I'm not sure if you guys even know who that is, but Lionel Rose is an Aboriginal man who went to Japan and beat a guy by the name of Fighting Harada. When he came back to Australia, there was 80,000 people at the airport waiting for him.
What?
Yeah, when you arrive back,
Far
80.
out.
Yeah, there was like a parade for this
Crazy.
guy.
Yeah.
George Kambosos won he won the unified titles, brought it back. There was close to 100 people at the airport.
Yeah.
I think there was 80 people or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's done what he's done. Good on him, man. That's like a great achievement. You can't knock him. And George worked hard, man. He like really grinded.
He did definitely.
But
Yeah.
the circumstances were just perfect for him.
Mm.
Now,
it's about
look, if he loses his next fight, he's a one-hit wonder, right? Is that what they're gonna say?
if he loses.
Because look, this is the way I look at it. You know, you got to defend your titles, man. You got to defend your straps. You got to defend them, and you got to win. That's when you know you're the real deal.
for sure.
And he really has the capabilities to do so, but the lightweight division is scary at the moment,
It is.
right?
Yeah, you
Especially
got
when you say
you got
Haney, you say all
Lomachenko,
these
you
blokes.
got Tank Davis, is it?
And look, man,
Very hard division.
And I'm putting myself in the mix right there, man. Because if I beat Jacob Benji is ranked in the top 10 in the world with the lighweight.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
like, he's like number 5 with the WBO and number 9 or 8 with the IBF.
Yeah.
So beating him puts me right in the mix,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they better hold on because I'm coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
As it ain't
Billy's
over.
coming.
It
Billy's
ain't,
coming.
it ain't
Billy's
over.
coming. It ain't
It ain't over.
It's not over, as
Just
they
watch.
say. What the fat lady sings.
Yes, right.
But when's your next fight's on March 19th?
March 19th
Yep.
at the it's at the Crown Casino. I think it's Crown Casino in the Gold Coast.
In the
It
Gold
used to be
Coast.
called
Okay.
Jupiter's.
Yeah.
But I think now they call it the Crown, Casino.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, how much does game planning work? Like we saw Cambosis, his game plan, I think he said was in the first round to knock him down, as like Cus Yamato said
Nah,
to.
man, don't believe that Castellamato shit. That's all bullshit, man.
Really?
You
That's
reckon?
all shit. Let me tell you something. The real man behind all of that was Mick Akwe.
Yeah,
Mick
yeah.
That's right. I've seen Mick, yeah.
Listen,
Mick Akwe was
and the punch that Tiafimo took from Cambosis in that first round was from Mick Akwe's teachings. It's called the overhand right, the tower power.
Wow.
And that's what Mick Akwe was known for. And that's the exact same shot that he was teaching George. And he told George in the lead up, George, we got to hit this guy hard in the first round. You got to hit him so hard that his ancestors are going to feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Do you know what I'm
exactly-
saying?
worked.
And he hit him.
Yeah.
worked, yeah.
And that was the changing point,
Yeah.
right? But don't believe that Castellamato shit, man. That's just for social media likes. That's the truth. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Yes, George Cambosis did a fantastic job. Good on him. I'm proud of him, man. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And
Yeah.
let me tell you something. Mick Akwe had a lot to do with that.
That
A lot.
overhand right.
A lot
And
to
just
do
the
with
win
that.
in general.
Look, Mick Akwe had a lot
guidance.
to do with that victory.
Yeah.
Mick trained George for 13 months.
Right.
13 months in
yeah.
the lead up to that fight. That fight was on, off, on, off, on, off. They traveled to America. They got stuck in quarantine, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Mick was with him the whole way.
The whole time.
The whole time. So
Trainer
credit where-
makes it a great.
Yeah,
Trainers, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
you need a good team. You know, like there's boxing is one of those things, man. You just have to have the right people around you. You know, it's like when Tiafimo was, you know, the situation between Tiafimo and George was, you know, on off, and then they were saying just relinquish the title and let George fight for the IBF title against that Mexican kid who just recently fought
Jojo Diaz. Was?
no the Mexican kid that fought against Gervonta Davis.
Oh.
It was a tough fight. He
yeah,
gave
yeah.
Gervonta fits,
Yeah.
right? He was the number one contender for the IBF. He was the next contender behind George for the IBF strap. So had Tiafimo relinquished that title, George would have had to fight that Mexican. That would have been a tough fight. That wouldn't have been easy.
that would've-
George was thinking he could beat that guy no problem, but man, that would have been a tough fight. And that's a Mexican who's in your face all night.
Oh,
Mexicans, their style is
No, that would have been a
Street
tough
fighters,
fight.
man.
yeah.
But George had the right people around him saying to him, George, keep your mouth shut for a second. Don't be doing that, man, because that's not as an easy fight as you think it is. That's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
So, of course, George got to that point, but he had the right people around him to make the decisions to make sure that they got to that point. And everything happens for a reason. He's there now. But as I said, the real test now is that if you can keep him.
Yeah.
Because if he loses it, he's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the pressure.
I think who knows as well. He might even not take the Haney fight and choose to like keep the belt. We've seen some fighters do it, but I hope he goes for that Haney.
Well,
fight
look,
because
the thing is, the two options that he's looking at right now is Haney or Lomachenko. So one or the other. And either fight is a
they're both hard fights.
very difficult fights,
Yeah.
but you know, I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
He's saying that they're gonna get 80,000 fans in an arena, but I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see.
in Australia,
Hard
yeah.
in Australia, yeah.
I'd
We'll
hope
see.
I hope to see that.
we'll see.
All good, man.
But we're seeing big things from Australian boxers.
Definitely, man.
I'm really
Definitely.
happy.
Look,
with
Australian
where we are.
boxing is definitely on a high. There's a lot of great talent out there. You know, there's just a few names that I could just roll off my tongue right now. But you know, obviously you got George Kambosos leading the way.
Yeah.
You got Tim Tszyu.
Yeah.
You got Brock Jarvis. You
Yeah.
got you know, my younger brother Yusuf, who's also gonna start making some noise very soon. He's undefeated. He's 15-0.
Yeah.
Then you
wow,
got
wow.
Nikita Tszyu.
Yeah.
Tim
yeah.
Tszyu's brother,
He's
yeah.
younger brother.
You got the Olympian Harry Garside, who won
Yeah,
a silver
yeah,
medal.
saw him.
I think was it a silver or a bronze? No, he
Yeah.
won
I think
a bronze.
Bronze.
Bronze,
He got a
yeah.
bronze.
Yeah.
Olympic
which is
stage,
good.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
crazy, yeah.
A bronze.
You have
That's
the
the
heavyweight as well. What's his?
And then you got some Dempsey McKean, the heavyweight guy. We got
Yeah.
you know
the guy that fought Gallen. I forgot his.
yeah, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about
literally, it's-
Hooney.
Hooney.
Justice
Justice
Hooney.
Hooney.
Justice
Hooney,
Hooney,
huh?
yeah.
Look,
Hooney?
Hooney.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's definitely
Yeah.
some great talent out there, man. Like
Yeah.
awesome talent. And
Obviously yourself as well. in
And
the
yourself,
I'm still
coming
there.
up,
I'm still
yeah,
there.
you paved the way,
Then
man.
you
Like,
got, then you
yeah.
got Bilal Dib as well. He's still rated in like highly rated with the WBA.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know, obviously, there's a lot of fighters that are right on the cusp of doing some great things. Australian boxing is at a healthy point right now.
Yeah.
Definitely healthy.
Even the
sure.
UFC. Literally, we have
yeah,
Volkanovski
yeah.
and
You
got the UFC
you know
as
that's
well.
No, man. Look, sports.
Combat sports is
The
coming
sporting arena in Australia is healthy, man. It's
Yeah.
good, and it's good to
Especially
be a
at
part
the
of it.
moment, yeah.
It's good to be a part of it.
It's good to be, yeah,
that's good.
for sure, man. No, well, it was such a pleasure having you on, man.
Thank you,
and,
man.
I hope the youth can get something from this. And
No, for sure.
You know,
I
learn.
appreciate it, man. And as I said, you know, it's very simple: vision, consistency, success.
that's it. Guys,
Yeah.
you heard it here from Bilal.
Yeah, man.
That's
thank
what
you.
it's all about.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and God bless you all. And inshallah, all of you taste great success in your lives.
Inshallah.
Guys, take it easy, yeah? Yalla.